foremost, my humble salutations to Swami and to the Stamford Center for asking me to come and share my experiences. All the bhajans that were sung today summarized my entire talk. So I do not know what else I'm going to say. Every song, I said, oh my God, this is a point that I was going to talk about. Oh God, this is another point I was going to talk about. So every sentence and every song completely surmised my speech. Rather, Swami's words. So, as Al pointed out, I was introduced into Swami's fold when I was around 10, 11 years. My elder sister-in-law, she was an ardent devotee of Swami, and as a matter of fact, her uncle built a Shivam in Hyderabad. So she reintroduced my parents into Swami's fold. Prior to that, my parents did go to Swami in the late 50s. Somehow they didn't continue, but my father always wanted to. But when my sister-in-law came back and got married and came, the cycle started again. And I grew up in a very spiritual family, always with spiritual prayers and guidance and visiting temples and so on. I would attend all the religious discourses even at a very young age. So obviously when my parents were going, I would just hop into the car and go with them, whether I had to study or not, it didn't bother me. And I would come home and study, or somehow I would manage. And that's how I got attracted to him, through his speeches, because at that young age I could understand every single word of what he said. He made it so clear so that I would just sit there and listen to every single word and follow his speeches. That pulled me more and more into him. And during that time, my father, being a physician, he was pretty well known in Chennai. Well-wishers, according to them, felt that my father was being pulled towards, a quote, a holy man. So they tried to dissuade him, saying that you are a physician, you know science, do you want to go into all these things? But my father was very strong in his belief, and as I was watching that, I was praying, quote, to God, not to Swami at the time, to God, saying, God, please help my parents. Little did I know that I was going to fall at his feet myself. So praying to God, saying, please help my parents. If this holy man is really gone, it's okay. If not, please make sure they do not follow him. So what little did I know at that time. And then I said, if you're really God, show me that you're God. And Swami had a way of dealing with me through dreams. I had physical, personal encounters with him and spoke to him during my childhood, but even then it was all through dreams. Most of my encounters with him were through dreams, even to this day. And this particular dream was in a temple. And I did not realize what temple that was until I visited that temple 50 years later. That was the Kanyakumari temple. That's where he appeared, and I was with the ocean on all sides. And inside the temple, there was the deity, the idol. I saw him walk through the idol, merge into the idol, then walk out through a different entrance, and go to another temple where it was Lord Krishna, do the same. Then go to another temple where it was Lord Venkateshwara and do the same. So then he would come, look at me and smile. And in a way he said, I am everything. I am God. So that really made me believe that he was God. And he is God, of course. And that was a proof that he gave me. And since then, any temple I go to, any idol I see, I imagine him in that particular idol and I bow down to him. From then onwards, I started doing that because he showed me that he is everything and he is in every idol. And even when I do salutations to elders, I always imagine him being in them. And that's how I do my salutations to my elders even to this day. So that I think is his grace, that he made me aware of the feeling that he is in everybody and in everything, that he is omnipresent, he is everything and he is everybody. And Mr. Naidu, his name was Mr. and Mrs. Hanmantarao Naidu. They are very close friends of my parents. And actually, they knew Swami since Swami was of 14, 15 years of age. And he would literally lie down on her lap and she would feed him. That was the relationship she had with Swami. And for Swami's birthdays, she would go to Parthi, and along with Mother Ishwaramba, she would apply oil to his hair or his head bath. And in some of the pictures, if you really see, you can see her along with Mother Ishwaramba. There are some old pictures, if you look, you will see her there. So they were very close friends of my parents, and Swami would come and stay in their house all the time. That's where we would meet Swami, have interviews, and have luncheon with him. He would make sure that everybody were well served, and he would come and ask each and every one of us, how is it? Are you eating properly? Is everything being served? Like he being the host, he would come and do that. And on one instance, there was one seat next to Swami which was vacant. I think they didn't have the courage or guts to go and sit next to him. So that one seat was left open. And my second brother, after finishing his clinic, he came. And he was standing outside because he did not know it was lunchtime and lunch was being served and he didn't want to disturb. Then Swami realized that he was standing outside and said, oh, Avadani's son is standing outside, ask him to come. And he said, doctor, come on. And he made him sit next to him. So that was a love and care and Swami showed to all of his devotees. And in Mr. and Mrs. Naidu's house, that's where my mother, if she had any questions, she would ask him, talk to him, and he would answer all her problems, issues, and so on. Then, as he was making frequent trips to Chennai, my father would go meet him and always say, Swami, when are you coming to our house? When are you coming to our house? And Swami would always say, I'll come next time. And by that time, my father, this was in 1967, December 26th, by that time, my father already had 3 heart attacks. And so he went and saw Swami in September when Swami came and asked Swami, when are you coming? I'll come. So when Swami came to Chennai in December, previous night he sent word saying that I'm coming to your house for breakfast tomorrow morning. Then you can imagine the excitement that happened that previous night. They are my parents next to Swami. My mother and he was in Mr. Naidu's residence. So my parents went there and Swami came along with them. And food and the message. The reason why I felt this slide was important was that My father, if you can see, there are so many items on the table, and my father got cashews, almonds, walnuts, which are all quite expensive in those days in India. So he got all those nuts, and Swami likes idli, sambar. So that was prepared. Then Andhra dishes were prepared. Swami blessed everything, and then he just ate peanuts and idli sambar. Then my father asked Swami, why are you not having them? So Swami said, listen, you can afford it, so you are serving me. But there are so many people who cannot afford this, and if they see me partake these nuts and these delicacies, they will spend the money where they don't have. So that is why I do not have all those delicacies. So that is a message saying that he is for everybody, and he knows everybody, he cares for everybody, and he is so simple. So his food was always very simple. And during that short visit, the first slide that you see is a naming ceremony. That is my third brother's son. He was about 3 months old, and for the naming, and my father wanted Swami to name him. My father wanted to name the boy after Swami. The boy's parents wanted the boy to be named after Lord Venkateshwara and Krishna, but they did not know how to tell Swami. So they just kept quiet. So I said, oh God, we wanted all these names. What's going to happen? Then Swami said, Sai Giridhar. And he turned around, looked at my father and said, you wanted to name him after Sai. Sai is in the name. Then he looked at my brother and said, you wanted to name him after Lord Venkateshwara. Where does he live? He lives on the mountains, Giri, mountain. And he looked at my sister-in-law and said, you wanted to name him after Krishna. Giridhar is Krishna. So in one word, in one name, he just satisfied all their wishes. Then I'll go to the Annaprasna. This is my second brother's daughter, and she was a few months old at that time. So my father, of course, wanted Swami to feed her the first solid food. And by the way, she is Rekha, and she runs the Home Day Sai Center. So Swami gave her the first solid food of the rice pudding. Then my eldest sister-in-law, the center picture, the red frock, my eldest, that is Sucharita, she is my eldest brother's daughter. Nothing was happening to her. So my sister-in-law said, oh, Swami took pictures with these two children, and I wish we did something for her that he can take a picture. Immediately Swami turned around, looked at her. You're wearing a red frock, I'm wearing a red dress. Let's take a picture. So that's how that picture came. And this is our group picture. You can see me standing behind Swami. And when I say final blessing, my father said, Swami, I want to come to Puttaparthi. When shall I come? Swami's words were, Nen ninnu rappitsukuntanu. That means, I will get you to me. He didn't say, you come. He just said, I will get you to me. And my father asked, when, Swami? Next year. Then my father said, Swami, next year? Only 10 days. And on 10th of January, my father passed away. So, for my mother, for my brothers, he said, you come for Shivaratri. Only for my father, he said, I will get you. And he didn't say that you come. So, obviously for Shivaratri, we went to Parthi. And when we went there, that was my first visit to Perthi in 1968, Sivaratri. We were all very fortunate to witness Swami taking out the Sivalinga. This was 67 and 68 and 69 Shivaratri I was there, and 68 Dasara I was there. At that time they had no place to stay. We stayed in our cart for 5 days. We slept in the cart, we sat in the cart, we took showers at Chitravati river. So, but that was a wonderful experience. So we went to Perthi. Swami called us for an interview, and my mother was very, very upset that my father passed away. So she hugged Swami and said, "Swami, why did you do this to me?" And so on. Then he said, "Why are you crying? He has come to me." And only to my mother, he showed my father in his palm. He showed his palm like this and said, "See, he's right here." And my mother could see my father in his palm. But only to my mother, not to us. Then, of course, she reconciled after that. No matter what it is, a loss is a loss, but she reconciled. And that was how my mother got her solace from Swami. Now, with my education and career, my mother was very worried about me all the time because my father passed away. I was only 16 when he passed away. So my father wanted me to become a doctor. So during one of his visits to Chennai, she asked him whether I would become a doctor, and Swami said, "Yes, she will become a doctor. You will always have 3 doctors in your family." Both my brothers, my father passed away. I became a doctor, my brothers and myself, 3 in that family. My eldest brother's daughter, doctor, he is a doctor. My second brother, his daughters are doctors, he is a doctor. And in my family, I'm a doctor, my son is a doctor, my daughter-in-law is a doctor. So in every family, it was like 3 doctors all the time. And that's what he said in 1967, 68. So that tradition so far has been followed. And that was the assurance he gave my mother, and obviously I got a seat in med school. And my dreams, as I said, he was always in my dreams. Studying for exams, my main concern was, Swami didn't come in my dream yet. Whether I studied or not, he has to come in my dream. So, if he didn't come, I would be more worried that he didn't come in my dream rather than studying. So he would always come a few days early and say, "Don't worry, no pass aipotao. Don't worry, you will pass." "Oh, okay, Swami, now I can study." That's how I passed all my exams. He would tell me. And one social and preventive exam, I was so worried, Swami didn't come. Amma, Swami didn't come in my dream. Amma, Swami didn't come in my dream. Why don't you study? Why are you saying Swami? No, he has to come in my dream. So that was the intensity and the prayer that I had, and his assurance that I would pass my exams. That gave me the confidence and strength to carry on. Then the same thing, I got married, came here, and I was applying for residencies in 1977. December of 1977, he comes in my dream and he says, "You will get, NYU lo nik seat ostundre. You will get an NYU." I said, "Okay, Swami." In those days, foreign medical graduate, getting into NYU in rehab medicine, which was number 2 in the country, without an interview and without 1 year of internship. I went into straight residency. Without an interview, without an internship. One fine day, I just got a letter from them saying that we are giving you the position for a resident. That's how I joined NYU. Then, from then onwards, that was the time, then I will come to the Sai Center. But with my career, the same thing. Once I graduated, applying for jobs, and he coming in my dream, "You'll join Einstein." Same story. Went for an interview to Einstein, and then I had to go to India because my mother passed away. I did not keep in touch with them. Then after almost a month after I came back, I said, hey, what happened? Then, we are waiting for you. When did you come back? When are you going to come and join? That's how I joined Einstein. And I was at Einstein for 12 years. And during that time, I was getting more and more into spine and scoliosis through the hospital with a private practice orthopedic surgeon. And when it was time for me to move on, again, Swami came in my dream and I asked my Swami, what do you want me to do? Am I going to keep going here, or I like this more? What am I going to do? No, join the practice. So I got out of Einstein and joined the private practice. And why? That's where he helped me author a textbook of physical medicine, rehabilitation of fractures, where I was able to author a textbook. So that was his vision for me. And that's why he got me out of Einstein to go with and I'm with the same practice to this day. So that is the scoliosis practice. And of course I deal with a lot of children. And they have to wear braces for the scoliosis. And a lot of Swami's teachings I incorporate into them. I don't tell them, I just say, my guru, this is a philosophy. That's how I keep telling. Try to encourage them to wear a brace and go on. So a lot of Swami's teachings are part of my practice at present. So, in 1977, I get married. I come here. My husband did not know who Swami was or is at that time. And my mother-in-law came to bid us farewell as we were leaving the country. She saw Swami's pictures everywhere in our house. And she pulled my husband aside and said, listen, we have Rama, we have Krishna. We don't need another human being to pray to a human being. So you be careful. I see pictures everywhere. So you be very careful. And I didn't say anything. Came here. Landed here on Thursday. The following Sunday, my husband and I, we drove to Wappinger Falls, where my cousin was having the Poughkeepsie Center. We go to the center, and he gives me Swami's picture. I bring it back. I put it in the apartment. My husband doesn't complain. He doesn't say anything. And every Sai function, we were going to Wappinger Falls. And he was coming with me for every function. Then in 1978, Guru Purnima, we had a wonderful celebration. Bill Clegg, Phil Goslin, they were all there. Then that night, Swami showed my husband his real form. And this was late in the night. The bedroom doors are all wooden doors like that. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, my husband heard a knock on the door. And I was fast asleep, I did not know. And he said, knock on the door, and then he opened his eyes. There he saw Swami's full figure across the door. He didn't believe, so he got up and he thought maybe a light is shining from outside, maybe the night light. At that time, he did not even think, how can a night light go through a solid wooden door? So he did not even think about it. But he opened the door, and that particular night, the night bulb went out, so there is a pitch darkness outside. So he comes back, he closes the door, then again he sees the form. Then he wakes me up and says, do you see anything there? I opened my eyes, I said, what? I don't see anything, and I turned the other way and I just went back to sleep. So Swami gave his darshan to my husband on Guru Purnima day. And that kind of put the seed for him to get, who is this? I'm coming to the functions here, now I see his form. And that's how I think that seed, that Swami put the seed of starting a center. And in May, for Ishwaramba Day, we all went to Brother Phil Goslin's house for Ishwaramba Day celebrations. That's where Brother Bill Cleggan, Nadine Cleggan, Mike Hollander, Phil Glass, and they all said, listen, there is no center in New Jersey except for one in Cherry Hill. We need one center, and you are going to have it. I said, my responsibility is I'm a resident. How can? No, Swami will take care. We are coming. They looked to their calendars and said, okay, June 17th is the day we are all free. We are coming on that day. So we said, fine. And actually I was pregnant with Sai at the time. And my husband said, oh, we have to finish the basement. And I had to be on bed rest because I had health issues. So I did not see how the basement was being done. And I said, the council has given us the okay, but Swami hasn't given me the permission yet. How can I start a center without his permission? So I said, Swami, you have to tell me, what am I going to do? Exactly a week before the center starting, Swami appeared in my husband's dream and my dream on the same night. And in the morning when my husband got up, I had a Swami's dream. I said, I got one too. Then I asked him, what did he tell you? He said, everybody was sitting in darshan line and Swami was going to each and everyone saying, what do you want? What do you want? My husband was thinking, I'm going to ask him about my job, about my work, this and that. When Swami came to him and he asked him, what do you want? I want to have bhajans. That was his answer. And in my dream, this was again the house in Chennai, and Swami came, he was talking to all of us, and I was sitting at his feet and saying, Swami, we're going to start a center. And you know that we are starting a center? He said, yes, I know you are starting a center. Then I was telling him, Swami, we are having 4 lights facing the altar. He said, no, we have 6 lights. No, Swami, we are having only 4 lights to face the altar. No, you're having 6. Swami, you don't know anything. This is exactly what I told him. I said, Swami, you don't know anything, Swami. And then, but you will have, he said, yes, you will have bhajans. A lot of people will come. These were his words. A lot of people will come. You'll have bhajans. Then I asked my husband, you remember how many lights do we have there? Oh, we are having 6. I said, you told me 4. Yes, you remember we discussed 4, but the electrician came and he said, no, we have to have 6 lights. I forgot to tell you. So he already visited the center before I knew what was happening. And how did I meet Lalita and Ramanan? Through the yellow pages, or the white pages, I should say. I took the telephone directory and I said, whom am I going to call? I went through all the Indian names and I kept calling them, we are starting a center, please do come, please do come. And that's how they showed up. So, looking at the white pages, Indian name? Okay, come on. So, and Swami indicated to my niece in India how the function went here, that he was present at the center. Because if he came in my dream, I said, oh, it's my dream, my imagination. So he came in my niece's dream and told her exactly what happened at the center function. When I called India, she said, did this happen? Did this happen? I said, yes. How did you know? Swami came in my dream last night and he told me everything that happened. So that's how he relates. He makes sure that you know it, but at the same time he sends the information through somebody else. And then, of course, I was pregnant. I had a car accident because of my morning sickness. I broke my nose in 10 different places, and I was bleeding everywhere. And I was going to work at the time. So obviously they took me to the hospital. And because I was pregnant, they didn't give me anesthesia. They gave me local, and they tried to fix my nose. And the ENT surgeon was saying, this nose is completely smashed. She will need cosmetic repair. Then at the time of discharge, she said, you have to come back. After the delivery come, you have to fix your nose. Your nose was badly broken. I said, okay, don't worry about it then. Then I was very upset, and again, Swami, his compassion, he came in my dream. And prior to that, my cousin sent a telegram to my uncle Gopal Rao, who was stationed, he was in Puttaparthi at that time, about the accident. So he went and told Swami, Swami sent Vibhuti packets, and they came. They sent the Vibhuti packets by air so that I could get them right away. And in my dream, he came and said, why is she crying? I'm there, I'm taking care of her. Why is she crying? So I said, okay, Swami, you know. But anyway, 2 weeks later when I went to the doctor, where she took the brace off from my nose to see how my nose healed, she looked at me like this, and she said, who did this? I said, what? She said, I didn't do this. I know how bad your nose was damaged, how bad your nose was broken. I know how I fixed it, but I did not fix it like this. The one above fixed it. I did not fix your nose like this. After that, I didn't see her at all. You see, because she said that I don't have to see her, because the one above took care of the fractured nose that I had, and my husband said, hey, your nose looks better now than before. So that was a car accident. And again, to talk about his omnipresence, during my pregnancy, I had a very, very bad back pain, and I could not take any medications. So I was in bed, I had to be in bed rest. So I was in bed and I was saying, Swami, my back is hurting me so badly. I can't take medication, Swami. I don't know. Please help me. I felt a hand put pressure on my back and rub my back. And that happened for a couple of minutes. Then afterwards I turned around, there was nobody. The back pain disappeared, and throughout the entire pregnancy, I did not get back pain to that severity. It was Swami's omnipresence, and he just putting his hand, and it was his hand that gave me the relief, and he took away the back pain that I had during pregnancy. And just to show his omnipresence, on a lighter note, I would always think, sit down, and when I finished my work, doing everything, I would just sit and daydream about Swami. How will it be if Swami visited us? Because he would always say, I'm coming to US, but he never showed up in a physical form that way. So I said, how would it be if he came? I would take time off, I would go wherever he is, I will invite him here. How would it be